So Mimikyu, I like Mimikyu. Mimikyu has to me Mimikyu has like one of the best abilities in terms of you get a free turn pretty much. And it was even worse in Sword, the ability was even better in Sword and Shield because you didn't take this part. Like this part wasn't here, so you could take a hit and then get focus ashed. So you were guaranteed two things, which they changed, which I think is good, so you can't focus as Mimikyu. But still, 90 attack is good. 90 attack's good. 96 speed, 96 speed, 96 speed, 90 attack's decent. It's not the best, but at the same time, to take a free hit and get a free turn of setup or whatever, you either get a free turn of setup or you get a free hit. You get a free attack, so it's still really good. And 55 health is not great, but it has decent enough Mimikyu has decent enough defenses to where, unless you're getting hit with a super heavy, hard-hitting or super effective hit, you should survive. And Mimikyu only has, I think, 3 weaknesses. Mimikyu only has 2 weaknesses: Ghost and Steel, while having 3 immunities, which is normal fighting and Ghost, and being resistant to Bug. Having a 4-time resistance to Bug, so it's like unless you're getting hit with a Ghost or a Steel move, you're set. You shouldn't get one shot. But I like Mimikyu, and the free hit, like even if you get hit with a super effective hit, the free hit cancels it out. The only thing that kind of sucks is if they hit you with something that, I don't know, like Mimikyu's Ghost, so it's immune to like Power Up Punch and stuff like that. So Mimikyu's also a really good switch in if you know they're Bandit or something. Like even if you know, it's just really good. I really like the ability. But one thing about Mimikyu 2 is just Swords Dance is super powerful. Like Swords Dance Mimikyu, because you're getting a free Swords Dance, and if they set up, you get even a better turn. Mimikyu's really good to like counter setups or like tanks too, because regardless, you're gonna always have an extra hit, because if you're both setting up, you're gonna take whatever hit they hit you with, you're gonna take an 1/8 of your health, or I think is it an 1/8? Yeah, it's an 1/8. You're guaranteed to take an 1/8 of your health, so it's like, oh, that's nothing. You just eat the hit, and you get a free turn to set up, or you get a free attack on them, which is gonna do more damage than that. But this is how I like running Mimikyu, which is Swords Dance. I didn't realize this, but you could also replace Swords Dance with Leech Life, because Leech Life is actually more damage. But I mean, it just depends on the coverage, I guess. Depends on what you want. I like running Drain Punch because it hits Dark super effective. But so does, you hit it for super effective and you get the health back, but so does Leech Life. I think Leech Life is now better because they buffed it so much. But I don't know, fighting's also good for that 4 times hit, and for Steel types. I think Drain Punch is still better for Steel, just for that super effect, as long as you're not fighting an Angel Slash, because Angel Slash is just a problem for Mimikyu. But Swords Dance, first turn you Swords Dance, and Mimikyu has good enough speed to where as long as you're not going against someone who's super fast like Barraskewda or Dragapult, like even the disguise is so good because it counters Swords Dance and Shadow Sneak's such a good combo, especially for things like Dragapult with the stab and everything. It's such a good combo. Plus, if you Dynamax, I think Mimikyu's really good as a Dynamax because you get Swords Dance, you take a hit, and then you Dynamax. So if they hit you again, Citrus Berry procs, and you get a ton of health back. Plus, Play Rough and Drain Punch do good damage, and Drain Punch rages your attack even more. It's really good. Mimikyu is also one of the ones where like Dynamaxing isn't always the best because of Shadow Sneak. Also, Shadow Sneak, I think pretty much 9 times, like it just depends on what you want between Shadow Sneak or Shadow Claw. I like having priority in Shadow Sneak in case you hit them with a sash and they outspeed you. So like, especially like in certain matchups like Barraskewda, like he outspeeds you, you hit him, and then you Shadow Sneak next turn to KO him, which is really good. Or just having Mimikyu come in against, like if somebody's sash, just bring Mimikyu in and Shadow Sneak and you KO them, which is really good. So I think Play Rough is a must because it does so much damage because of the stab and the 90 base power. Even I think it has 90 accuracy though, but it doesn't really matter. And again, yeah, I think this is how I like running Mimikyu. But you could also run Mimikyu kind of bulkier with Will-O-Wisp or bulk up to shut down physical attackers. I think Will-O-Wisp, the thing that sucks about Will-O-Wisp is the accuracy, and if they switch out, then it gets rid of it. But at the same time, with bulk up, they could build up their stat. Like Will-O-Wisp hurts them more than one bulk up. Like you need 2 bulk ups pretty much, I think, to equal out a Will-O-Wisp. But the accuracy sucks. And then you Will-O-Wisp a physical attacker. Even if they're faster, you take the hit, you Will-O-Wisp them, and then you can Swords Dance safely. You could also go full speed if you just like only bring this Mimikyu against physical. But then I think Play Rough's a must here, and then the last spot could either be Shadow Sneak, I think Drain Punch, or Leech Light's really good in that last spot. You could also, there's no reason to run Hone Closers, but Leech Life or Drain Punch if you want the health back, or Shadow Sneak if you just want the damage. And the berry's really good against a physical attacker, because with the Will-O-Wisp, there's a good chance they'll lock or knock you that low. So that's another way to run Mimikyu. But also Destiny Bond's really good. Destiny Bond or Life Orb with like this Mimikyu is really good, just for all-out damage. But Destiny Bond with Life Orb is really good, because you're gonna take your damage. You're gonna take health more and more between. I'm not gonna do the math, but between them hitting Disguise and Life Orb, and especially Woodhammer. Woodhammer's a ton of damage with the recoil, so you can kind of bait them into a Destiny Bond and play for Shadow Claw, or just good damage. I would probably run Shadow Sneak here just in case they have something with low health, or you drop them low and you don't want to get outsped. But Shadow Claw is also really good for the damage, like, because the whole point of this Mimikyu is I want to bring Mimikyu in KO, either do a ton of damage with Woodhammer and KO and have low health. Like, that's a good thing. With recoil and Disguise and Life Orb doesn't really matter. Like, you could one-shot something and Life Orb Disguise. Like, Disguise doesn't activate off of recoil, so you could really drop yourself down really low with, like, 2 Woodhammers, Disguise breaks, and then Destiny Bond into 2 KOs, or 3, depending on how much Woodhammer does. But that's I think you have to run Speedy, though, because if you get outsped, it's useless. Pretty much at that point. I mean, you could be slower in Destiny Bond, and kind of like Destiny Bond, you can play around. Like, you can force them to do what you want with Destiny Bond, but also you could Choice Scarf trick with like Rotom and just put them in a bad spot, especially against either a slower Pokemon or a setup. You can trap like Dragapult into a Dragon Dance, or you can trap something slower, maybe like a Flygon into a Dragon Dance, or like a Rhyperior or something in a setup, Ferrothorn in a Stealth whatever. They're just done. And especially the slower ones like Ferrothorn, or the ones that run Gyro Ball and stuff like that, the Pokemon, you just shut them down. They can't really do anything. They get stuck in a one move, and they just let it die, or they come in later. Especially if Mimikyu takes like a leftovers from like a Blissey. Is Blissey in the game? I think Blissey's in the game, if I remember right. Blissey's not in the game, so Chansey isn't either. Okay, so like something else. You take leftovers away from a tank is really good. Last spot, it's just what you want. You could run Will-O-Wisp, Swords Dance. I wouldn't recommend Woodhammer is a toss-up. Just the recoil is a lot. I think that last spot though here is whatever you really want. I wouldn't run Substitute's weird on Mimikyu, because that with Disguise is a lot of health. It's like 60 or 70. Probably closer about 60. You have like 60% health ish. Taunt would be good in that last spot, because you can trick them and then taunt them and force them into struggle, if I remember right. Toxic maybe, Will-O-Wisp. I don't know, it's just what you want. And then other moves Mimikyu has. Hone Claws. You could Hone Claws into the Play Rough for 100% accuracy, or into the... I think Woodhammer has like 70. Where's Woodhammer? Woodhammer... Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, so you could Hone Claws into the Play Rough for 100%. Rather have +2 attack, honestly. Or it also helps with the Will-O-Wisp. But I don't know. I think Sword Dance is better. Taunt. Just fast Taunt. But I think there's better like Grimmsnarl and some of the other ones. Plain Spit's also really good if you're against a... I don't know. Plain Spit I think is good. You just have to... I don't know. Plain Spit has its uses though. Phantom Force I think is only good if you Dynamax. Other than that, it's not good, because they can just switch to a normal type. They can see you disappear and switch to a normal type, and you just wasted a turn pretty much. Or... they can just play around. You give them a free turn, especially if they can set up or whatever, where it's not great. And also Mimikyu has Trick Room. The only thing about Trick Room is Mimikyu's so fast that you would have to... Mimikyu, I don't know, Mimikyu's it's pretty much a guaranteed Trick Room though, but at the same time it's so slow, it's so fast that it's not great for Trick Room, but there are worse, I guess. Like 177 speed, like that's not... The thing is, maybe you can set up for someone else. Like, if you can Trick Room Destiny Bond, you could Trick Room Destiny Bond, but again, I think there are better ones than that. I don't know, you could kind of trap them with Trick Room Destiny Bond, Swords Dance, and then you could Trick Room... You could really Trick Room Destiny Bond, Swords Dance, and then Play Rough, probably, because nothing... I don't want to say Shadow Club, because a normal type screws that over, but you could do this and kind of force them into something to where they can't attack you, otherwise they KO. Or they can't attack you, otherwise they Destiny Bond or whatever. And that works really good for Mimikyu if they do hit the Destiny Bond, because then you can switch in whatever you want the Trick Room for and it'd be really good. But That's how to use Mimikyu in Sword and Shield.